Welcome. Today, I have David Sharif, global autism advocate and motivational speaker, on the show today. Hey, David, thanks for being here.
It is an honor and it's my pleasure.
Hey, David, you and I have been able to meet before this interview, and you are so impressive. And I'm so glad that you agreed to come on and share your voice and empower others. Today, I want to pick up a topic that is close to your heart, and that is bullying perseverance. I'm wondering if you could define what bullying perseverance is for our audience.
Bullying perseverance, pardon me, bullying perseverance is all about knowing, okay, why am I being bullied? There is no clear answer to it. It's not black and white. It can take a great deal of observation, not just from your perspective, it's also to the bully's perspective as to why it could be happening. Or maybe on another note, what is something that may you look greater, or something else that shows why you are progressing fast, or even to another standpoint, probably why you are going much slower and you're not really understanding why your bully could be doing better than you, or you could be doing better than them. It's a two-way system that can potentially or likely lead to jealousy and to a lot of conflict in understanding someone's point of view.
Hmm. When you say it's a two-way system, thinking about bullying perseverance, what do you mean? Like that there's two people involved, usually a bully and the person who's
Or
being
it,
bullied.
or it can be multiple people, like two or
Yeah.
three bullies and the person who's being bullied. But
Hmm.
also for myself, it can be on my side or to my closest friends, two or three people being bullied by that specific group.
Got it. Got it. What led to you being interested in this topic?
The first thing that came to my mind is October is National Bullying Prevention Month. Even though I have dived into bullying perseverance in previous podcasts, I thought this would be a very strong focus so that way our audience in the autism community could even get a bigger picture of what bullying can be, whether it's the bad experience or maybe understanding why and seeing how you are accomplishing it, overcoming it, and your own strategies to persevere with the thing that could be knocking you right in the head or it could be just punching you right in the stomach. It's just a
Hmm.
matter of knowing why it could happen and then processing the right strategies you have developed and continuing with what you love.
Great. So let's start with, how do you identify why bullying is happening? What do you do to do that?
Sorry, what are you asking? What did I do to persevere with bullying or
Mm-hmm.
something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. What are some of the strategies, David, that you used to understand why? Why is this happening?
Well, it kind of goes like this. I am never afraid to share what I love. I have never felt scared whatsoever to say the kind of life that I am living. And some of you may ask what that is. Travel. I have been traveling the world since I was 2 months old. I have been called travel obsession, Some people have said, I don't just travel for the sake of it, but it's not just travel. I'm a sports fanatic, and if you can see right by my screen, I am a huge Kobe Bryant lover who did not deserve to lose his life in the tragedy. I miss you badly and miss you so much, the Black Mamba. Now back on topic. Kobe Bryant has always been my biggest inspiration, who made me love basketball very much. I was also a youth bowler. I was triggered about my love for sports, even if they may say something that is not actually true, they use it to get a rise out of me, and they would say anything pessimistic to get me to react, and it goes like this. Will I reply to their message, or would I just stick to what I am doing? And here is another thing. From my experience with the bullies were a fan of video games like Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros., Angry Birds, or something like that. Or anytime I wanted to speak to a teacher or turn in something, like the bully just shouted at me saying, watch it. Like, I'm being watchful. And another thing that I always do to keep myself in the moment and to stay focused with what I want to pursue, I do self talk. And some of them say, stop talking to yourself. And here is a big thing, and probably the greatest one that is unforgettable. Well before high school, I knew it was my dream to go to college in New York City, the city that attracted me and that I fell in love with since the first time I traveled there. While I did share my love for it, people said, you're obsessed with New York. And yes, I may be obsessed with it, but it's not in a negative way. I love what I do, and that's what I will always cherish. And here is even bigger things that I could hear. I was once told by a group of twin brothers and their allies, telling me that I should not go to college in New York City, that I would not even get into a single school in New York City, and that it would never amount to anything for me. Next thing you know, whether they were here or somewhere else, I would not bring my acceptance letter, and my parents wouldn't let me because of the unanticipated disputation. But I would tell my educators and the ones who supported me, and not the bullies, that I got admitted into all of the New York schools that I applied to. And I chose the one where I had the best experience and pursued my dreams, Pace University, New York City. And next thing you know, I was valedictorian for the class of 2015, and I graduated Pace University magna cum laude with a degree in political science and peace and justice studies in 2019. So it also shows one thing. Why don't you actually look at your own progress, which is pretty strong to your own ways, and why don't you actually look at what you want to do as opposed to just tearing somebody down who may have certain things that you don't have? It's like this. I may have other experiences that the bully has, and I don't. But that doesn't deny the fact that you should just harm me because of me having specific experiences that could, potentially give you hard feelings. And I understand that. I acknowledge the fact that I have been around people, or back in Village Glen West, in my school, I have been around people who have not kind of had the same adventures as myself. I respect the ones who, you know, don't generally get to have the experiences that I have. But if you are not willing or are reluctant to respect what I love or what I am going through, then that will lead to bullying. And then that will lead me to actually hurting what you love. So, therefore, it is a two-way system that you have to respect each other. And just because I have something that you don't, that does not mean you hurt my feelings for that. And specifically, that relates to world travel and even other things that I would carry to the bottom of my heart.
Yeah. So, as you faced bullying, it sounds like you knew it was happening because it was triggering for you. And it sounds like what you did is know it was happening. And then you made a choice about how you were going to respond. And how you chose to respond was sticking to what you love, sticking to your dreams, and focusing on yourself versus retaliation against the bully. Does that sound right to you?
Oh, yeah, you definitely hit the nail on the head right there. Even though I was angry and I wanted to, like, kind of fight back, not physically, but actually say a word as opposed to
Hmm.
ignoring it, I was still sticking to what I love. And here is another thing that was unpredictable and something that I would love to mention later in this interview.
Do you want to do it now, David?
Oh, would do it, and more than ever before. Having
Hmm.
been bullied in middle school, or mainly the last year of elementary school, I loved the friends I made in local communities, but having been stuck around it, I never knew if I could have worldwide friendships. The summer before high school, I entered the gates of a magical summer camp in the Poconos of Pennsylvania, just a 2 hour drive away from New York City. From there, I delivered my message, a speech that I wrote on what it is like to be autistic, that I actually wrote when I was 12 years old. Eventually, as I gave it, I was welcomed, accepted, and celebrated by the campers at the camp, Camp Havaya, BU Boldly. Originally, it was Camp JRF. So at the time when I was there, it was Camp JRF. So when I walked in and when I saw the kids around me, I was noticing the differences. And then I gave my speech. And next thing you know, I have built worldwide friendships all over the country or even people out of the United States. And what's more, the remarkable gift of a lifetime, I found my long life best friend from Evanston, Illinois, someone who I am proud to call, going back to this movie, or actually this way, The Incredibles, I found my Frozone, who has been my greatest asset to everything. He's not the only one. It's the other ones in the camp family as well. And my apologies for not actually mentioning the camp name before I got into delivering my autism speech. But from that moment, I started to see the change happen very quickly, where I could now build worldwide friendships. And there you go. The bullying is going to continue. But who cares? I have a second family, and I have another family that will be there for me when I pursue my dreams. My long life best friend and the others around me, my counselors, the unit heads, and the camp directors. And what else did I do? Anytime I felt like I had a bad day at school, I felt a tear come out of my eye on the ride back home. But what else did I do? I had direct message conversations with my close friend. I looked at camp photos that I would have in my own bedroom. I look at them, I think about them, I take their wisdom, and I carry it to whatever I love. But the hardest thing that really haunted me the most was I always had camp photos in my school binder and in my lockers. And when the bullies came around, they would shake their heads at it. And then I'm like, okay, what? Okay, I look at the photo. I ask those people in there, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And they just say the same exact thing. Stay in the moment. Take the courage that you taught us, and don't let anything stop you. And then I knew that, okay, I'm going to go back there again next summer, and I will have a lot to learn when it happens. And even better, they told me I should not go back to summer camp. But I found that cackle worthy. And why, you may ask? My mother just signed me up in September. So guaranteed I was going to go back there, and I did. So I just laughed at it. I didn't care. And to look at it from my own standpoint, if I ever felt sad or anything, my second family was there. That family was also another great adventure for me with my regular family, the educators, and the ones who supported me. They were also a major backbone.
Yeah. So the strategies, you shared some wonderful strategies here, David. One being surrounding yourself with a community, a second family, as you mentioned, that love you, support you, and really cheer for you, right? So to do that and stay connected, and to be able to remember or use your positive memories, your positive experiences as an anchor to keep you in the moment.
Hmm.
I mean, does that sound like I mean, is that an accurate reflection of what you did?
Oh, totally accurate. That has been like the number one strategy. Or if I could give another strategy, back from my childhood, I I built an extraordinary friendship with another person who loves world travel as much as I do. And I love chatting with him in homeroom before school is over because we just talk about the places we've been to, all the airlines we've flown, and from there we've never um, had any problems. We might have been in arguments before, but that didn't matter because our world travel friendship went beyond inconceivable odds, and it's everlasting. And no matter what, I had other friends in the homeroom, even if I talked about things that only interested me and they were in the same scenario too. We thrived because we worked hard to build the best connection that we could to adapt to other topics. It didn't happen in the blink of an eye. It took a great deal of progress through our speech therapy sessions, even group therapy sessions from our individual therapists. So that was also another thing that kicked in. But going back to my camp family, I was the only autistic camper in the cabin. And as a matter of fact, my long life best friend from camp is not autistic. And that kind of makes a difference right there. And then after I graduated high school, I had the skill sets, or maybe the skills, and all of the needs and requirements to become a camp counselor. And between the gap of finishing high school and starting college, I got to be a camp counselor at the camp, Camp JRF, now Camp Havaya. That propelled me to become who I am and told me to be the best version of myself and do it now and not waste it for the future. And there it happened. I got my first paid job, and that was another dream that I accomplished.
Congratulations. That's amazing. You know, David, I think what's so fantastic is sharing first person. You're not only your first person experience. Thank you for sharing that with us. And but most I think more importantly, sharing the things that you did, how you stayed connected to being the best version of yourself, how you resisted the negative feedback or negative information, which does remind me of Kobe in many ways, how he used to talk about how he used to block out the booing from the crowds. And you know, it reminds me of that and how you really work that mental muscle to
Well, guess
say,
what?
yeah,
You just said it right there. That's why he developed his thing, the Mamba mentality. He developed an extraordinary mentality that was beyond difficult to comprehend, whether you were a basketball fan or not. You saw it and you understood it. And by the time he played his very last basketball game at the highest level on the wood court, he saved the best for last. And then everyone said, "Thank you for what you have given." And he outmaneuvered the booing. And kind of on a similar thing, he was told by a guidance counselor he shouldn't play basketball. But what did he do? He took the pessimism and pursued his dream. He entered the basketball stage after graduating Lower Merion High School. And that's another reason why he is my biggest inspiration. We have a strong connection, whether it's athletics, education, the arts, or anything. There is a deep connection to these legends. And one of my favorite sayings to ever hear: heroes come and go, but legends are forever. And here's another good one that will always be my top: nobody hates the good ones, they hate the great ones. And if anyone were to look at what I have been through, audience, caution, this is going to sound boastful and it's bragging rights. To my classmates and to the entire administration, I was considered as one of the greats. Not because of what I did. I am the first student from Village Glen West to attend a 4-year prominent, prestigious university in New York City, in the other side of the country, with valedictorian and a plethora of academic accomplishments. Audience, I understand your perceptions about the boastfulness, and I will keep that in mind.
well, I think you serve as a wonderful role model. I think what's sometimes it when people can see that it can be done, that can give hope. And I think that's what you're doing, is showing that it can be done.
But here's another thing: the ones who bullied me, they are giving hope from themselves as well. They are doing what they can to get things done the way they want it. Even if I might have triggered things that they love, that doesn't deny the fact that they are doing what they want to do. If they love video games, then that's what they will play. If they choose to, have their adventures in a water park or maybe at a sporting event or possibly something related to their interests, that's what they will do. They love what they do as well, just like myself. And for me, like I said earlier, I've been traveling all my life. I've been traveling since I was 2 months old. And there is no other kind of life that I'd rather live than being a world traveler. And that is precisely why I call myself a global autism self advocate, because I am a global citizen.
Awesome. Hey, David, if anyone's hearing this interview or this conversation and they want to find out more about you, where should they go? How can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, My Instagram name, this can be tricky, but if you listen carefully, you should find it. My Instagram name is David underline the Traveler. All the letters are lowercase. With the word traveler, there is only one L.
Got it.
Just
Okay.
once again, if you miss something or not, all the letters are lowercase. David underline the Traveler. You can also find me on my platform, Venturing Incredible Abilities. It's called the Neurodiverse Advocate, or I have to check the name of it. Here, I will do it right now. So the name of it is the Neurodiverse Traveler.wordpress.com. Again, all the letters are lowercase. If you are having any issues, contact me through LinkedIn or Facebook or the best possible way, and I'll help you. My email is davidsharif@gmail.com.
And I will put all of those, I'll put all of those handles in the description below.
Thank
David,
you.
thank you so much for being here today. What a treat.
Thank you. It has been a huge opportunity. It's been a lot of fun, delightful, and I am so grateful that I have met with you virtually, and I have no doubt that we will meet in person someday.
Yes, I hope that is the case. Thanks, David.